Yeah. Now, one thing that I thought was really interesting sometime back, you had met this guy who was a motocross guy,
Hmm.
and he took you out to the track and you
Yep.
got all geared up and you were running around this track. Now, everybody's had this experience where summertime, you go over to somebody's house, you go out and play volleyball all day, and you're sore as hell
Hmm.
the next day because you're using muscles all day that you don't normally use. Now, this guy told you after you
Yep.
spent a bunch of time riding this motocross bike, he goes, man, you're going to be sore as hell the next day.
Right.
What happened?
Nothing. Zero soreness. Now, I was kind of anticipating. I told him, yeah, you're right. I probably am going to be. But it's such great affirmation knowing that you're a product of your training. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like people say, oh, bro, you don't jog, so you're not going to be able to run distance. Every once in a while, though, I don't know, twice a year, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to go for a 5 mile run. And it's
Mhm.
nothing
Right.
because the way I'm training is right. But that was so funny. I'm glad you brought that up, the motocross thing, because I used to ride a long time ago, and it was a great day of training and I was a little tentative, doing jumps and hard turns and stuff like that. And the track was it wasn't like a motocross track, or it was more like it had smaller jumps. It didn't have
Right.
gigantic triples and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, it was a motocross track, not a supercross track. That's what I
Okay.
wanted to say. Yeah. But I rode hard for an hour and a half or so. And, every once in a while I'd come in and he'd give me tips, and I'm sweating my ass off and he would remind me to breathe. And I'd go back out for a few and he'd coach it. And I rode freaking hard. And every lap I got better and better and better because I was listening to his advice. But yeah, when we kidded down, my body was fatigued, but he said, oh man, you're going to be so sore tomorrow. And I said, yeah, probably. And absolutely nothing. It was like a regular workout. I wasn't, not lower back, knees, ankles, forearms, because you're using every muscle in your body
Right.
when you're on that bike, and every single one of them. It is so physically demanding doing that, especially if you're riding hard. But yeah, I'm glad because I forgot all about that. That
Yeah.
was good.
So in other words, like the stretching sort of thing, everything is so built into Mac's workouts, and he's diversifying things and mixing it up so many times that he's working all of these muscles that you don't work when you go out and play volleyball at the family barbecue
Mhm.
and you get
Right.
sore for 2
Yep.
days, right?
Hmm.
So in other words, he's not stuck in a sagittalistic plane. He's
Hmm.
not just doing presses and curls and that sort of things. So things are diverse, which makes a point. And now let me ask something, and then we're going to go into the next question, which is on the same topic. But did you guys do any motorcycle training? I know you did driving in special ops, but
Yeah, we did it all: ATVs, dirt bikes, off road, high speed on road, all of the driving, all of it.
so how many guys had never ridden a bike before who showed up?
Um, th- th- there were several, but they wouldn't be put on a mobility team either.
Right.
So there are teams that specialize in certain things, and you pick, the SMEs based on, their past experience. Like, some guys are really good climbers, for instance.
Right.
You're not going to pick a guy who's 6 foot 250 to be a climber. You're going to
Mhm.
pick a guy who's freaking 5'9",
Right.
160
Right.
to be on that climbing team. Same with the mobility stuff, or with water team. You're not going to pick a weak swimmer to be on a water team.
Right.
Everybody knew how to swim. Everybody knew how to ride everything, but the guys who specialized it did it more.
So what type of uses would motorcycle be?
A variety. So reconnaissance is a big one, you know,
Right.
and then when it comes to like doing an assault, surprise, speed, and violence of action, you can
Right.
get that vehicle there very fast. Plus, a motorcycle can be used to, clear a long linear drift.
Mm.
Something very, very linear, something very long, because it's small. You get it into smaller places, and you
Right.
can get from point A to point B very fast. And you get there with two people on it too.
Right.
Plus, you could go places that let's say, a Humvee can't go
Right.
because it's too rocky, or the crags in the mountain are too narrow. So this thing can get out in advance and do reconnaissance. That's a big one for the motorcycles, is that
Now,
reconnaissance.
would you guys outfit those things?
Not with missiles like Chuck Norris had on them. I know that's what you were probably getting to, but no, they were just standard, good, durable, like Honda 250s, nothing high speed, extended a large gas tank and, maybe some gear modification, but nothing special. Because what makes a bike special is the guy who's riding it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I had guys kick my ass who were really, really good. I mean, when I was going through the Gary Civic Motocross School, I was on a YZ 400F, which is like just a ridiculously powered motorcycle, and guys were beating me on a Honda 250 because they were better riders.
It's the rider, it's the player, right?
Yeah, man.
All right, so then question number 20, Mac, favorite motorcycle you ever had or wish you didn't get rid of?
I've had a lot of motorcycles. Started when I was 15 with like Gen 1 monoshock. For those of you who remember when monoshock came out, YZ 250. And way too much bike for me because that was a 2-stroke. And then I had a KZ 1000 for a little bit. And then I had a 77 Super Glide and an 83 Lowrider. The 83 Lowrider was my favorite. I bought it in Washington State. It was AMF years. I took off the Mikuni carburetor, put on an S&S. I put in solid lifters. I messed with the sprocket teeth ratio to give me more top end. Put on 2-inch turnout headers. Let me see what else I do that thing. Just a whole bunch of little stuff, but it just ran. It's like it just ran very, very well. It's like buying a Fender Stratocaster. This one is pretty good. The duplicate is far superior. Right. Like a motorcycle company could make a series of motorcycles and they're all duplicates, but for some reason, one of them is just better than the others. Yeah. Right. It's how it's tweaked and tuned and the metal on metal imperfections and all that stuff. But that was a nice bike, man. And it just purred. And when I got the gear ratio right, it just sang on the highway. I'd get to a certain RPM and there'd be absolutely no vibration whatsoever. Because I drove that thing from Monterey, California to Fort Lewis, Washington several times. That's a 1,000-mile trip.
Yeah, wow.
And man, that was just a nice bike. But yeah, I missed that one. I PCS to Germany and I sold it. Damn it.
Now, you guys still have the dirt bike?
Yeah, I still got that. And I'm looking for, I want another bike. Yeah. I want to in and around town, just a skeletonized screamer, just something gnarly. I'm not looking for I just want an in and around town screamer that I could bar hop with. Yep.
Bar hop with.
Yep.